Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just give me a quick second. Move some things around real quick. There we go. All righty. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing this morning on this wonderful, wonderful, lovely Tuesday? Hope y'all done had a blessed weekend. Hope your week is going good so far going in. All righty. All right. So we are ready. We are ready to start. We are ready to start our day. I just wanted to say thank each and every one of you for your prayers, for your comments and different things like that for last week of me having surgery. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, as well as thank you to everyone for all the birthday wishes for all my babies who had a birthday from August well from July to September. So I just wanted to say thank everyone for all the birthday wishes and different things like that. Okay. I am author Angelina Rito. I am author Angelina Rito, aka Coach Lady Rito. So welcome to God Speak to Me Tuesdays, which we meet every Tuesday at 9 a.m. on Facebook as well as Instagram and YouTube. Um, 9 a.m. every Tuesday, Central Time. We come on here and we talk about Faith Within Her. She's No Longer Bound, the 12 Women of the Bible, which we will dive into 12 of the women of the Bible, which there is more than 12 women of the Bible, which we know, but I have picked 12 women to talk about personally. And these 12 women that I have picked, we talk about how their faith was tested, the different challenges they were faced with, the doubts at times that they had, um, the different path that they took. When God told them to keep straight, they turned left at times, right? And those are some things that we deal with today. Some things that we deal with today is taking things into our own hand at times, right? So, just a little quick recap. We have talked about, let's see, let's see. We talked about Rebecca. We talked about Hannah. We talked about Elizabeth. We talked about Martha. And we talked about Esther, right? We talked about those five women so far. If you want to go back and watch the replays on my Facebook page, you are more than welcome to watch the replays. When you watch the replays, just hashtag replay. Tell me, how your faith was tested, right? And, which are one of the women that you can connect with or relate to, and different things like that. Give a little background of your story and how you connect with them, and encourage individuals and other people to do the same thing, right? So today we're going to be talking about Sarah. So our topic today is navigating promise and patience, and we will be talking about Sarah today, right? If you go in your Bible and Genesis chapter 15 through 21 gives you a background of Sarah and Abraham's life, right? How Sarah basically, thought it was impossible to bear children when God promised them that He was going to bless them with a child of many nations. Sarah quite didn't believe into that, right? Um, when Sarah heard, when Sarah heard Abraham and them talking, overhearing them talking about it, Sarah was probably basically in the kitchen. And, it was like God said, He's promised you a son of many nations. And when Sarah heard it, she kind of like laughed it off. She kind of like giggled it off, right? Because at that time, she's 90 something years old. She didn't believe that she could bear children at that time due to her age. She didn't think that, her woman parts was even functioning and rolling at that time, right? And stuff like that. So she was kind of like in denial. She thought it was impossible to have those children at that time, right? Um, so after a while, and they she had after a while of um, God telling them that He was going to bless them with a child. Um, and it didn't happen, she started not to believe in, and she started to take things into her own hands, right? She started, she convinced her husband and her servant Hagar to come together and have a child together because, she felt like it was too long, she was waiting too long, and she still haven't had no child. So she thought that, she probably thought that God forgot about her. She probably thought that, it was impossible, and, it's just her women, how the womanhood wasn't functioning right, different things weren't functioning, and different things like that. So she kind of convinced her husband and her maid servants to, have a child together. So she took things into her own hand. And sometimes that's what we do at times, right? We find ourselves when God promises us something or tell us something, we find ourselves being impatient. We find ourselves, wanting to do things our way instead of waiting and doing things God's way. And sometimes when we find ourselves doing things our way, different things start to happen, right? We find ourselves in different situations that, we didn't think that we could be in, but because we decided not to be patient, because we decided to take things into our own hands, we left with this type of outcome, right? We start getting frustrated, we start getting irritable, anger starts to form, we start forming bitterness, we start not, we just start doing things that we normally don't do, right? And that again brings you to my poem that I had created, right? Just that first section. The challenges we face can feel so immense, a weight in a gut, an aching deep sense, thoughts that whisper tempt us to stray, to do what we regret in the light of day, right? And that right there just shows you that, sometimes, when we impatient and we don't wait on God, sometimes things start to happen. We find ourselves doing things that we normally don't do, right? Because we decide to take things in our own hand. We decided not to be patient. We decided not to wait on God's timing, right? Um, and different things like that. So today going to talk about Sarah navigating promise and patience. We are reading from the book Faith Within Her. She's no longer bound. The 12 Women of the Bible. This is what we are reading from. And today we're going to be reading Sarah. Okay, we're going to be talking about Sarah and different things like that. So let's get started because y'all know these are some long chapters. I got my coffee and water. Okay, Sarah, navigating promise and patience. Once in the ancient land of Ur, there lived a woman named Sarah. She was known for her grace, wisdom, and unwavering faith in the divine. Despite the challenges that life presented, Sarah and her husband Abraham lived a content life, but their hearts ached for a child, a longing unfulfilled for many years. Sarah's faith and promise of a child grew stronger with each passing day. She believed in the words spoken to Abraham by the Lord Almighty, reassuring them of descendants as numerous as the stars in the skies. Through time passed and she remained childless, Sarah clung to her faith, trusting that the divine plan would unfold in due course. As years turned into decades, doubts crept into Sarah's mind. She wondered she wondered if her faith was being tested. In her moments of despair, she questioned why the promise had not yet been fulfilled. Initially, when Sarah and Abraham received the divine promise of descendants, they were already advancing in age, making the idea of having a child seem impossible. As years went by without any signs of the promised child, Sarah faced the test of patience. She grappled with doubt and uncertainties, wondering if she had misunderstood the divine message or if the promise would ever come to fruition. The societal pressure of that time weighed heavily upon Sarah as well. In the culture of that era, a woman's worth and fulfillment were often tied to her ability to bear children. Sarah must have felt the societal expectation, adding to the emotional strain of her situation. As the years turned into decades without any signs of a child, Sarah's faith, Sarah's faith faced its toughest trials. She might have questioned the validity of the promise, wonder if it was a test of her faith, or even if her past actions or beliefs had somehow caused the delay. So she decided to lean on her own understanding. In that era, it was not uncommon for a barren woman to often to offer her maid servant to her husband as a way to produce heirs. This culture practice was seen as a legitimate solution to the issue of childlessness. Sarah, driven by her longing for a child and perhaps a sense of duty to fulfill the divine promise, made the decision to suggest this unconventional solution to Abraham. Sarah might have felt a mix of emotions when she made this proposal: sadness at her own inability to conceive, desperation to fulfill the promise, and maybe even a sense of frustration or impatience with the seemingly delayed fulfillment of the divine prophecy. Sarah's suggestion reflected the cultural norms of her time and her earnest desire to see the promise fulfilled. Through the decision seemed logical within the culture content, it ultimately led to emotional turmoil within the household when Hagar became pregnant. Feelings of jealousy and resentment arose between Sarah and Hagar, causing tension and difficulties. But despite these challenges, she never lost hope. One fateful day, messengers from the divine appeared before Abraham and Sarah. They brought the reaffirmation of the promise, declaring that Sarah would indeed bear a son, Isaac, who would bring forth a lineage that would impact the world. Sarah, overwhelmed with a mixture of joy and disbelief, laughed at the thought of bearing a child in her old age. Yet, as time passed, Sarah's faith grew unshakable once more. She embraced the gift bestowed upon her, cherishing the life growing within her. Through the challenges of her advanced age and the uncertainties that lay ahead, Sarah's faith remained resolute. In due time, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the fulfillment of the divine promise. Her heart overflowed with gratitude, marveling at the wonders of the divine plan. She raised Isaac with love, instilling him with the values of faith, kindness, and resilience. So now we're going to reflect on Sarah's faith. Okay, Sarah's story in the Bible provides profound reflection on faith. Okay, number one, belief in God's promise. Sarah's faith journey centered around God's promise to make her a mother of nations. Despite her advanced age and infertility, her initial disbelief and laughter at the prospect of conceiving at an old age transformed into faith as she witnessed the fulfillment of God's promise. Two, patience and endurance. Sarah's faith was tested through years of waiting for the fulfillment of God's promise. Despite the long wait and the initial doubts, she remained faithful, showcasing endurance and patience and trusting God's timing. That's what we have to do, okay? Mistakes and redemptions, all right? Sarah's attempts to fulfill God's promise through Hagar result in complications. Her story reflects that faith doesn't expect individuals from mistakes. Exempt individuals from mistakes, but teaches that even amidst shortcomings, God's plan for redemption and fulfillment remains. So remember what I said, regardless, just because you took the wrong path, or when God told you to turn right and you turned left, or God told you to keep straight and you decided to turn right, regardless, as long as you continue to have that hope and you trust and you believe in Him, He's going to stay by your side. He's going to continue to do what He says. As long as you don't give up on Him, He's not going to give up on you. All right. So, four, transformation and growth. Sarah's journey saw a transformation from skepticism and laughter to a deepened faith in God's ability to fulfill his promise. Her story teaches that faith is a journey involving growth, trans, transformation, and learning to trust in God. All right. Okay. The next one is legacy and faithfulness. Sarah's faithfulness is recognized in the New Testament as an example of faith in God's promises. Her inclusion in the Hall of Faith in Hebrews 11 demonstrates the enduring legacy of her faith for future generations. All right. The next one is role in God's plan. Sarah's faith played a crucial role in the fulfillment of God's promise to establish a great nation through her son Isaac. Her story illustrates that faith can be a factor in God's plan for fulfilling his promises. Okay, the last one. Trust in God's timing. We have to trust in God's timing, something that sometimes we don't want to do, right? Good morning, sis. Sometimes we do not want to trust in God's timing. We want to take things into our own hand at times. And sometimes we have to take that back seat and be patient, right? Because at the end of the day, our time is not God's time. So we have to be patient and we have to wait on him. Okay. So trusting God's timing. Sarah's story, Sarah's story teaches the importance of trusting in God's timing. Even when circumst- Even when circumstances seems impossible, her life amplifies that involves trust in God's ability the, accomplish regardless of human limitations. Sarah's life offers reflections on belief in God's promises, patience, endurance, redemption, growth, legacy, participation in God's plan, and trust in divine timing. Her story inspires believers to trust in God's promises, endure through trials with faith, and experience transformation and growth in their own faith journeys. Okay, so we didn't run over the reflection of Sarah's faith. Now we're going to go over, can you relate? Can you relate to Sarah's story? And if you can relate to Sarah's story, put in the chat how you can relate. Give us an example of how you can relate to her story, right? Tell me how your faith was tested. Tell me the different challenges you went through, right? Can you relate to Sarah? Not just Sarah. Can you relate to Hannah? Can you relate to Martha? Can you relate to Rebecca, right? You might not went through the exact same thing that they went through, but you probably went through similar things, right? I would, I can relate to Sarah, right? I can relate to Sarah when God promised you something and you think that is impossible, right? God promised me that I was going to become an author, and He sent me the signs and different things like that, and I thought it was impossible, because of my situation in 2019 and what I was going through, and I didn't have no money, and I felt like no one wanted to hear my story, and I didn't want people to be mad or upset at me. When I wrote my book and different things like that, I thought it was impossible, to become an author. I thought it was impossible to be able to, you know, uh, find that courage to, talk about my story and, talk about my truth and, and different things like that. There we go. I don't know what. Sorry about that, Facebook. But yeah, so let's go ahead and read over Can You Relate? To the women who find a connection with Sarah's story, Sarah's journey is a testament to the resilience, faith, and the extraordinary possibilities that can arise from life's unexpected twists and turns. Her experience of waiting for a promised child speaks values to those who understand the ache of unfulfilled dreams and the uncertainty that accompanies waiting. In Sarah's story, we see a woman who had given up hope of bearing a child due to her old age. Despite her initial doubt and laughter at the idea of conceiving at an advanced stage in life, she was blessed with the miracle of childbirth. Her story teaches us that God's promises do not come to pass, even in circumstances where human eliminations might deem them impossible. If you relate to Sarah's journey of waiting, know that your waiting season is not in vain. Your dreams and desires through delay are not denied. Just as Sarah experienced the fulfillment of her promise, your hopes can also blossom unexpectedly in due time. Sarah's story also teaches us about patience and resilience. Waiting for something significant can be challenging, and it's okay to have moments of doubt or impatience. But remember, just as Sarah's faith was eventually rewarded, yours can be too. Trust in the process, believe in the promise, and keep the faith alive. Your worth is not determined by the timing of your life events or by societal expectations. Embrace your uniqueness in the journey you're on, knowing that each step shapes you into a stronger and more resilient individual. Know it's okay to hope, dream, and yearn for something more. Your story, just like Sarah's, might hold unexpected twists and turns that lead to beautiful outcomes beyond your imaginations. May you find comfort in Sarah's story, drawing strength from her perseverance and ultimate blessings. May her journey inspire you to hold on to hope, trust, and the promise, and believe that miracles can happen. Even in the midst of uncertainties, stay resilient, keep the faith, and remember that your story is still being written with beautiful chapters yet to unfold. All righty. So that was Sarah, y'all. We went through Sarah today. So, like I said in the comments down below, tell me if you can relate to Sarah. What you think about Sarah's story, right? And what she went through and different things like that. And not only that, but go back in Genesis chapter 15 through 21 and just really read the background of Sarah. I think chapter 5. I think starting in chapter 5, it starts with the whole background, talking about Abraham and, different things like that. But if you just want to get the just background of Sarah and her story, you want to start at about chapter 15 through chapter 21, and it gives you a background of, how it all came to be and how, Sarah was in the back listening when Abraham was talking. Um, I want to say to the disciples about, God promising him a child and different things like that. So go back and just, refreshing your memory about Sarah and different things like that. And again, that is Genesis chapter 15 through 21. And again, if you want to go back further to Abraham and, and read the story and how that came about, start about chapter 5. Okay. But yes, so I'm super excited again. We are in week 6. I want to say, I think I put week 5 down there, but I want to say we in week 6. Give me a minute, y'all. Okay. Yeah, I did put week 6. Okay. So yeah, so we in week 6. So we talked about Rebecca. And Rebecca was actually Isaac's wife, right? She's the one that Abraham sent, one of his servants out to find Abraham a wife and different things like that. Again, you can go and rewatch the video on my Facebook page, on the main page, the replays and different things of Rebecca, Esther, Mary, Martha, and Hannah. Those are the 5 women so far that we have talked about. We dived into their lives and talked about the faith and different challenges and different things like that they were faced with. Like I said, today was week 6, and we talked about Sarah navigating promise and patient, waiting on God, right? Waiting on His timing. Um, and not, leaning to our own understanding and taking things into our own hands and different things like that. And sometimes we do that, Um, we find ourselves, impatient, when God comes to us and like, instructs us to do something, or He tell us that He's going to do something, and we be in disbelief, and at times we don't believe it, or we do believe it, and we get impatient and we start doing things our way and we start doing things our way, and we start doing things that we normally don't do, right? Um, and we want to make sure that we want to be patient, especially in the midst of our challenges, in the midst of the difficult situations and different things like that. We want to be patient. We want to make sure that we wait on God. And again, our timing is not God's timing, right? And sometimes we can get kind of irritable and want to take things into our own hand because we want things to happen right then and there, especially when we go and we ask God for something, we want it done right then, right there, no ifs or ands, no questions. And if we don't get it, we tend to do things our way. Women, we have that big problem, right? When we ask our husband or our significant other, or we ask somebody to do something and they don't do it right away, we get impatient and we start doing things our way, and we, start doing things our way, and we eventually sometimes it comes out right and sometimes it don't come out right, right? um that's crazy because talking about that, a while back, I needed something out of my attic, and I had asked my husband for it, and weeks went past and I still didn't get it, so I took it upon myself to go up there on the attic and get what I was looking for. And when I took it upon myself to go in the attic to get what I was looking for, I fell through and made a hole into the what you call it, because I didn't know which areas was, it was still some soft spots up there, but I didn't know which areas was the soft spot, right? So I just took it upon myself and went up there, got impatient and went up there and did it myself. And because I took things into my own hand and wasn't patient and didn't wait, you know, that was the outcome. Me, I didn't fall straight through, but my leg fell through, right? And I made a hole into the ceiling. So that's like an example of, not being patient, not waiting on, time and taking things into your own hand, and sometimes you have God tell you, like, you're supposed to wait. You had that little thing, you're supposed to wait. You're not supposed to be up there, but it's like, I've been waiting. I've been waiting. I've been waiting. I didn't ask. I've been waiting. I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to get it myself. I'm going to do it myself, right? And we find ourselves doing that when we ask God for something, right? We find ourselves with, I didn't ask, I didn't prayed, I didn't prayed, I didn't prayed. And it comes to another example, when things was, turning left for me and I had to move back home. My grandma told me to, pray, and different things like that. And I was like, I didn't pray, I didn't pray, I didn't pray. What is the use of praying when bad things keep happening, right? I was like, I'm just tired of praying. I'm just tired of praying. Nothing good is coming. Bad things just keep happening to me and stuff like that and blah, blah, that. And so I just got, I was fed up. I was tired, I had faith. I have faith. I'm trying to keep with faith, and things seem to still not turn out right. Problems still seem to occur left and right, and I just felt like that at the time, what's the use of praying when bad things keep happening, And again, we have to, be patient, um, believe in God. And just because, we're going through something at that time, just know that trouble don't last always. And not only that, but, God hasn't left our side. He's still standing by our side, when we're going through it. He just wants us to acknowledge Him, turn and face to Him, and be patient, and stand strong, in the midst of your challenges, in the midst of your difficulties, in the midst of your troubles, right? Stand strong, and continue to have faith, continue to trust, continue to believe, um, and stay prayed up. That is my time. That's all I have for you guys today. Um, Again, I am author Angelina Rito, aka Coach Lady Rito. I will see y'all next Tuesday. All right. Next Tuesday, I will see y'all here. Today is week 6. We meet here every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. We are reading from Faith Within Her. She's no longer bound. Together, we will explore the 12 women of the Bible. This week was week 6, so we got 6 more weeks to go. And then after that, I will be not will be transferring my live to my private group, Christian Women Academy, where we'll be doing a 12-week course. Okay, we'll be doing a 12-week course. Um, of Faith Within Her, writing your chapters and, talking about your faith and how your faith was challenged. I'm talking about your faith and how your faith was tested. I mean, how your faith was tested and the different challenges you are faced with. Okay. So it's going to be a 12-week course that's going to start. I said November 11th. I might have to push it back due to me missing a couple of weeks. But guess what? We're going to get it started before the year is over with, right? Because we want to go into a new year with being co-authors, right? Not only that, but being able to live in your truth, be able to start your healing journey, and be able to build that connection with God and different things like that. Okay. But with that being said, that is my time. I will see y'all next Tuesday, 9 a.m. Right. Thank each and every one of you for joining my live. Thank you for sitting here listening to me. And again, if you want to follow me, um, Faith Within Her is available on Amazon as well as my personal website, which is in my bio on Facebook as well as Instagram. All right. Rito'sExpressions.com. Rito'sExpressions.com. You can go there and purchase your book, or you can go to Amazon. And this is what it is. Faith Within Her. She's no longer bound. Instagram. This is the book, Faith Within Her. She's no longer bound. The 12 Women of the Bible, which is more than 12 women of the Bible, but I just picked these 12 women, okay? Again, I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for the prayers, for my surgery, for recovery. Thank you for the love and everything. And I just wanted to tell y'all, let it go, let it fly, and testify. It is Coach Lady Rito, and I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Bye bye.